I have for your delectation today this rather beautiful Sunseeker Manhattan 50. Isn't that a good looking boat? Now there's a couple of interesting things to tell you about this. It is a 2004, so it's just over 20 years old. However, it's been in the same ownership from day one. The owners of this literally bought it brand spanking new and have used and loved and enjoyed it ever since. But being over 20 years old, decided it was time for a refresh. So this one's down at SETAG in Plymouth, and we're going to give you guys the full tour and show you what they've done, because this really is a transformation. It is absolutely beautiful. And we are, of course, going into every area. You know the drill by now. Let's come and step on at the back. Quite interesting, they put these little sort of winglets on the corners here just to make it a little bit easier to step on. But I'm just going to show you how the boat looks from here first of all. Now, being 2004, we're predating the high-low platforms, so this has got the passerelle here, which can be used for stern to boarding, of course, but also acts as a crane, so you can lift a tender up and place it on the bathing platform. It goes onto chocks, which is why it has these little sockets in the floor for those to go into. But yeah, these are quite handy because you can step onto here and around nice and easily. This is just a deck locker on this side, so fenders and warps and that kind of thing that you want to have out here are ready to go. And on the other side we have got the boarding ladder. That's down underneath here, and that one is shore power inlet. There's a manual backup bilge pump in there as well. So obviously electric is the normal method, and the transom shower is here too. But let's head on in, pausing just briefly to take in the fact it's got a brand new canopy on here. There's a new flybridge tonneau as well. And inside is where the magic really starts. Now it starts right here. We've got brand new seating all the way across here, and matched very nicely with the canopy. But as we go in, this is where the big difference is, because I think it's fair to say that this boat previously, and I'm trying to be kind, was a sea of beige. It really was. It kind of gave you the feeling that if you wore a beige jumper, it would look like it was just a head moving through the interior. Everything was beige. Well, now it looks like this. They've lightened the upholstery, they've added some contrast. Lots of things have changed, like for example the lighting underneath here. The shape of this one has changed, the shape of these has changed. They had armrests before, they're gone. And of course, all new headlining, all new side linings. The whole thing looks and feels absolutely brand new. It's spectacular, but what a difference to what was here before. They've also, as is the way with a lot of these that I've seen with SETAG, is they've toned down the wood. So we've kept the high gloss cherry in places like this, but we've lost it on units like this. And in fact, that was originally for the TV over there. That's now been changed to a storage area. I'll show you that. But the TV is now, at the touch of a button, oops, let's just move that out of the way. There we go. In behind there, I think that's a 43 inch. So yeah, again, another SETAG upgrade. Very, very nice. So then this area, as I say, this was wood before. It's now been upholstered. And in here, this has all been nicely lined out, but also they've put sockets in here as well, USB and 240 volts. So if you want to charge stuff up, phones or cameras or whatever else. Do people have cameras anymore? I suppose they do they? Everyone's done on their phones now, isn't it? But yes, that's a good place to put things away and get them charged up. And then you can see here as well, again, they've just turned this into a really good storage area. Very, very helpful. If we swing on around, this has been kept original. That looks really good now, because as I say, you're not swamped with wood anymore. So areas like that just looks like a nice piece of furniture. And then in here, ice maker and the bar area, stemware. There we go. Fantastic. But yeah, doesn't that look special? And very, very different to what was there before, that's for sure. Love these big windows in the sides. As a starting point, this boat is fantastic because it's a great looking boat, and things like these big windows, plenty of light, just work really, really well. Up here then at the helm, again, lots of changes. The helm seat for a start has changed. I love this Italian leather they've put into here. It's kind of like a textured leather, really, really nice. And you'll see that's echoed in other places through the boat. And then here, all this has been spray finished. All this was the sort of the old Jaguar style walnut. That's now been done in the modern piano black. We've got new navigation gear. We've got a new steering wheel, we've got new switches, we've got new autopilot. A couple of interesting upgrades over here because they haven't just changed the bow thruster switches, they've changed the thrusters, bow and stern. And these are now digitally proportional. So previously, with the old-fashioned bow thrusters, they were literally, you just pushed like that and it was running or it was off. So it was like, and it was running flat out, let go and it stops. These ones, you can increase or decrease the amount of power. Very, very helpful when you're manoeuvring. So you're not on or off, it's like a throttle control. That's brilliant. That's a really helpful upgrade. But the other thing they've done is these engines were pre-EDC. They've now had the new throttle controls with all the new functions on. That's all been linked in with the original engines, and there's even the modern Volvo Penta display here, which you just simply didn't get back in 2004. So that's all been brought bang up to date. New VHF radio as well, of course, and then here, all new finishing, even that section across there, all new. Lovely, isn't it? Fantastic. Let's press on back now again. We're back to the fact this is a 2004 boat. We're a galley down layout. They all were back at the sort of turn of the century time. So that puts the galley down here, but I have to say, really good size and really nicely appointed. Now, one of the things that they definitely didn't want to change were these countertops, because these are granite, which you don't normally find in a boat of this size. Normally these are sort of like a fake granite. They're a Corian or an Avonite, but these are absolutely rock solid. Proper real deal. So that was kept. And again, all this was kept. But of course, all new linings. All freshened up. This is interesting because here, what they wanted, and this was based on experience of using the boat for 20 years, was this was in sections and the crumbs would get caught into the corners of these. So this has been done now as one continuous roll all the way around, so it's easy to wipe out. That is attention to detail, and apparently quite a tricky job to get that done like that. But of course, they've done it. We've got the distribution panel, that's down at this end. That's in behind here. So your mains electric and your onboard electrics are all controlled from there. This is nice. All the cutlery is this is very Sunseeker, this. Firstly, it is the proper original Sunseeker of the era crockery, but also you can see how this all fits in here perfectly, and it's designed so that stuff doesn't rattle around when you're at sea. That's lovely, isn't it? Like a bit of that. Very nice. Attention to detail, that is. And this is then all storage down in places like this. We've got it down here. I won't open everything, obviously, but you get the idea. It's a really well appointed galley, actually. There we go. But a nice meld of the original with this granite and this wood, and the new with these linings. That's really good. And you're probably thinking, well, where's the fridge? That's a fair question. It's over here. There we go. So that's tucked in there. I think that is still original. They were working, there's nothing wrong with them, so they've carried on with those. There we go. If we come forward again, we have got the VIP guest cabin up here. And this is lovely. Look at this. So what we've got in here is all this, all been redone. The linings in behind here, all redone. Of course, head linings, side linings here. There's the new headboard across there. And I mentioned that leather, that Italian leather on the helm seat. You can see that that section going across there matches it. How neat is that? And we've got the reading lights here as well, they're new. That was refinished inside there. New carpets, of course. New bedding. And the TV has changed. So originally, back in 2004, it had the old 4x3 profile TV. This has now been changed to the 16:9 widescreen, of course, that we're all using now. But they've even changed the section that it goes into. This originally came on down and there was no need for it to, so they've brought that back and just had that floating. Just gives you an extra little bit of space here and there. This again, all storage up along here, thusly, and again the woodwork is original, but all of this stuff is new, and it works well. Again, all this is new here, of course. It's lovely, really nice job. Drawers under the bed as well, like so. It's actually a nice practical boat for a 50-footer. A lot of space and very nicely appointed. Now what they've done with this one is there are two heads on this boat. So this one is the day heads, and there's an ensuite door, so you can come into it this way. In fact, we won't go into it that way, we'll go into it this way because I think we'll see it a little bit better from this angle. Here we go. Now this, there wasn't really an awful lot that needed changing or freshening up. It was all fine as it was. So what they have done is they've put new accessories on here. There's a new tap on here, but this is original, flooring is original. I think even these sections here are original because, well, as you can see, it looks absolutely fine. We've got the rotating shower there. It reminds me of one of those sort of transformers from a sci-fi film in the 60s, doesn't it? You can imagine somebody going in there and zoop, disappearing. That's probably just me. Bit of storage up in behind there. But yeah, that is a very light touch, but perfectly respectable upgrade of that. And that's what's nice about this, because you can choose exactly what you want, and you don't need to be throwing money at places you don't need to. And that is a place that you really don't need to. Let's close that over again. Where's the door gone? Here we go. There we are. If we come back a bit further then, we've got a few steps down here, and there's a couple of things to show you here. This is cabin 3. Now this was quite a sort of a dark little cabin, but they've brightened it up beautifully. So again, it's all new headboards, it's all new linings here, it's all new bedding. All this is new, head lining's new. It looks really, really good. There's a wardrobe tucked in behind here, like so. And drawers down there as well. Very, very nice. And then we've got this little bedside unit over on this side. Again, new reading lights, that kind of thing. And I think these overhead lights are new as well. But yeah, isn't that a nice space now? They've even managed to eke out a little bit more space here. This came further out before, and I'm not quite sure why. But they've managed to recess this a bit further. Just gives you that little bit more space. Just makes it breathe more easily, as all the best reviewers say. Fantastic. That's that one, cabin 3. If we come back a bit further then, owner's cabin is back here, but before we go there, I'll just show you in here, because we have the washing machine in here, and we have a bit of storage up above it like this. There we go. And back again, owner's cabin. Check this out. How nice is that? And what a big footprint in this cabin as well. If I come right back in the corner here, you can see just how big this is. That's fantastic, isn't it? So, where do we start? New carpets, new linings, new bedding, new headboard. That was a 3-piece headboard. They've turned that into a 1-piece headboard. New reading lights, new lighting, new linings in behind here. And when they take the linings out, they actually take all the portholes out and service them, because they can be areas which start to leak over time. So they all get redone as well at the same time. New surface on here, new upholstery for these little chairs, as you might have seen another one up in the saloon area. And then this again is all storage along here. Not sure what that is. That's something useful. And down in here, and so forth. But yeah, what a nice space that is. This is a really nice boat, I have to say. Not just in terms of what's been done to it, but in terms of the layout generally. I think this is brilliant. This one, of course, has its own private ensuite. That is in here. And again, it's a light touch refit in here. So the flooring and the toilet and the sink and so forth, or so forth even, I'll edit that out later, are all original, but new taps, new accessories, And that's fine, isn't it? I mean, you don't go in there and think, oh, that's looking a little bit old-fashioned. That looks absolutely bang up to date. Very good. And we haven't had a mirror wave. There it is. For all you mirror wave fans. And again, one of these transformer showers in here, so that just circles around, as you probably saw in the other one, for when you're using it. Very, very nice. Like that a lot. That's a great cabin. Oh, didn't show you the wardrobe, that's over here. We could have done a full height mirror wave, couldn't we? There we go, a spare. Just in case it's ever needed. Here we go. Big wardrobes over here. Bit of owner gear in here at the minute, so I won't show you too much further down, but yeah, that's a bit full of stuff, that one. Let's close that back up and we'll move on. But yeah, what a nice space. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Oh, you could be comfortable on here, couldn't you? Look at this for attention to detail. They even went into the bilges and cleaned everything up in here. Look at how clean that is in there. That's nice. So I think that's water pump in there and some of the plumbing. New lighting up here, and again they've upholstered these sections underneath here. I'm guessing that would have been wood before. It feels great, doesn't it? And I actually like having the galley down here. I know the thing now is all for these aft galley layouts in the saloon, but putting it down here and keeping the saloon purely for entertaining works, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. There we go. Again, all plumbing, seacocks, that kind of thing. All nice and accessible, all nice and clean and fresh. You know, you don't start delving in and thinking, oh, that looks a bit scruffy. It's all nice. But that's a big space, isn't it? Let's come right back here. Works well. Alrighty, let's press on. Much more to show you. But we will pause just for a minute and consider what a transformation that is from the sea of beige that was there before. Let's head on. I want to show you the flybridge. I want to show you the engine space. There was a crew cabin, that's been changed as well. I'll show you that, but we'll go around the front first of all. Where's Maggie? Isn't Maggie usually here? Oh, should be back somewhere. Stern docking winches. Love these original Sunseeker cleats. They always look smart. And then here we've got access up. Handle here. Nice stainless steel scuppers. It's nicely done, isn't it? There we are. There's a little Manhattan badge underneath there. So on the outside of the boat, not a lot has changed up here. The only thing they have done, if my memory serves me correctly, is they've put a new, I think either serviced or fitted a new anchor winch. They've done something with the anchor winch. There we go, that's up here right on the bow. So we've got anchor chain locker there. Those are the buttons for the winch, up and down. And again, these lovely cleats. Like so. Really smart. I'm always taken with those. Yeah, so that's the front of the boat basically, and if we stand here and look back, it's a nice looking machine, isn't it? It's a breezy day down here in Plymouth. You can probably hear the wind whistling in the rigging. Can you hear that? Remarkable. Let's go and have a look on the flybridge. So the teak here, I think I'm right in saying, is original. And again, looks absolutely fine, but up here it's been okay, there's Maggie. Reupholstered. And we've got the upper helm here as well. So all this is new and matches, of course, what we saw back in the cockpit. And then in here, again, I think this had the sort of the old Jaguar style walnut. Now we've done in the piano black. We've got the new steering wheel, which wants to be like that. The new throttle controls, the new thruster controls. So, you know, handling this boat would be like handling a brand new one, because all this stuff is the latest stuff. All the Raymarine kit is new, so we've got the new autopilot and so forth, the new Axiom multifunction display there, and again the Volvo Penta instrumentation, as well as, of course, all the original analog dials that we have there. There we go, what a view from up here, eh? Good morning, Plymouth. Lovely. This is a nice place actually, I like Plymouth. That's the aquarium just over there. Worth seeing if ever you're down this way, because it's yeah, it's spectacular, to be honest. And we brought Smuggler's Blues and Dreams here. That's where we locked in. If you've seen the Smuggler's Blues trip video, that's where we were going. Little wet bar underneath there, like so. And then back here, again, reupholstered. There's a new table. And up here we've got the new TV antenna, the new Raymarine radar scanner, and we've also got life raft up here as well. There we are, that closes down so you can close this off. There is also a cover that goes right the way over here. This boat did originally have a bimini top on it. They never used it. I'm guessing it's a UK based boat, so it was never used. So what they've done is removed it and added these little stainless steel plates just to obviously hide where those were. It's a nice space, isn't it? Let's press on down. I'm going to show you where that crew cabin was and now isn't. So what they had, and they were very common on boats of this size and this age, they put a little tiny cabin down here. Now I've often said good place for the daughter's boyfriend. It's not really a crew cabin, but it's a bit of overflow. But on this size of boat, it's not really, it's just a bit too small to be used for anything. So what they've done on here instead is they've changed this into a big lazarette, and that's a little bit full of gear at the minute, but you'll get the idea. So it did have a toilet here, but that's now been shelved out. The bed went across there. That's going to be racked out for storage. But yeah, canopies and cushions and inflatable paddle boards and cleaning gear and all that sort of stuff, where you've now got a really useful place to put that, and that is much more helpful, to be honest, than a little bit of a pokey crew cabin. So that I approve wholeheartedly of. There we go, let's put that back. And quite frankly, I'm pretty sure that the daughter's boyfriend could make himself comfortable down there at a pinch anyway. Okay, last thing to talk about then is the engines. They're under the floor just here. So we'll hook that one up. There we are. And down we go. Marvellous. So, what do we got in here? Pair of Volvo Penta engines in here. These are D12 715. I'll bring the camera around here, you'll see them a little bit better. Now these are giving the boat just over 30 knots flat out. It's actually quite a fast boat for a flatbridge boat. Cruising very comfortably at 22, and your range at that sort of speed, 250, 270 miles, somewhere up around that sort of area. As ever, if you drop the speed right back to displacement speeds, you will probably triple that range. And also down here, things like the battery charging. We've got the emergency stop buttons for both of the new bow thrusters down here. Some of the circuit breakers are here. And if I spin right on around, we will see generator lives down in this corner, and these are let's get right down here, there we go, a conventional shaft drive. So you can see the shafts going out the back of the engine. So we've got the gearbox in the back of the engine, straight shaft, out you go. And that is the raw water strainer, so it's pulling up the water from the sea through the strainer, and that's what's cooling the engine, then it goes out through the exhaust. There we go. Fire system down here as well, obviously. And again, you can see the shaft down on that side. There we are. Obviously, if you want new engines as well, SETAG will do it, but they are horrendously expensive. And quite frankly, if your engines are perfectly good, which at 20 years old they ought to be, you should be getting another 20 years out of those, then it's a rather pointless exercise changing them unless you've got a problem. So those are original, and quite sensibly so in my humble opinion. Many years of life should still be in those. And that, my friends, is about that. Let's have a last lingering look inside, because this, I think, is where the magic really is. That is fantastic. And I think we'll finish up here at the helm. There we go. I'm going to take a seat here. I'm going to say massive thanks to SETAG for organising this one. Massive thanks to the owners as well for giving permission. And huge, huge thanks to you guys for watching it. Let me know what you think of that one, but I think that is another very, very smart job. And we'll catch you on another one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.